Good evening. My name is Kristen Pietryka, and I'm the managing editor of Frame Your Future, the Communication Arts Department blog here at Marywood-University. 5 of our Comm Arts students blog weekly about department news, media organizations, current student profiles, alumni profiles, and industry trends. Tonight we are going to discuss our most recent topics, including the Woodward's goals and recruitment for next year, alumnus Myatt Murphy's visit to Marywood, the controversy behind Pepsi's new ad, PRSSA participating in a day of caring, a Marywood doctoral student and Comm Arts adjunct professor receiving the Fulbright grant for breast cancer research, current student and alumni profiles, and we'll also discuss Atlanta and why Ad Week highlighted this major marketing-based city. Joining me tonight is junior digital media and broadcasting major Ann Zukowski, Margaret Scott, a junior advertising and public relations major, and lastly we have senior graphic design major and ad minor Elizabeth Carlson. How are your ladies doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty excited to talk about everything that the Comm Arts Department has been doing in the past month and before the summer starts.
I think we have a lot of hot topics to talk about because a lot happened in the last few weeks. So this is going to be an exciting show. Yeah. So let's start with our first topic of the evening. Anne, please tell us about how the Woodward's goals and recruitment for next year.
So the Woodward that's Marywood's online news source, very known across campus for getting the most recent news out there, especially daily, whether it's sports, news, community, or arts and entertainment. A big thing is the huge staff that all work together to get that done. And of course the Woodward is recruiting, whether it's designers, web editors, writers, photographers. The Woodward recently held a recruitment day, so members of the community were welcome to see what the Woodward's all about and how to be part of staff. A big way that the Woodward got the word out about this recruitment day was recreating posters. So there were a lot of awesome posters scattered around campus, and a lot of them were kind of like play on media or play on movies and books, like titles. Like one of them was The Editor Strikes Back. That was a play on Star Wars. Pulp Nonfiction, The Perks of Being a Woodwarder, and there was Caption America. So that was pretty fun. And Elizabeth, you helped design, or you designed them.
I designed 2 of them. I designed Perks of Being a Woodwarder and Caption America.
So those were really fun ways to show off what the Woodward has for design, but also we have photographers, we have people who write, so that was a really fun time for anybody who might have an interest to go see what it's about. So that was a good, fun event. We had a little activity and also questions answered if anybody had anything they wanted to know about the Woodward.
I love the posters.
Yeah.
I think they're so creative, and I like you were in one of them, so it's nice when you see like familiar faces in them too.
Yeah, a lot of people were taking photos and they would be like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah.
Or, hey, that's you. And then I'm like, yeah, you got to come to recruitment day, and that could be you if you join our staff.
You could be on our posters.
Yeah. So that's pretty fun. Glad we always do that.
So next we're on to Margaret. This week you talked to 2 students in the Communication Arts Department. Can you tell us about the first student you chose for the Student Spotlight?
Yeah, so Caitlin Whitaker, she is a senior graphic design major who's also minoring in advertising. She's involved in a lot of organizations here on campus. She's an RA. She's design editor for the Woodward. She also is Eucharistic minister for campus ministry, part of the Graphic Design Club, CMY Club, and a member of SCJ. So she's definitely very, very active in the department and on campus.
I know Caitlin pretty well. We used to be roommates back in the day, but the thing is, before we were roommates, I learned that she's not even a Comm Arts student, but she's so involved. I think she may be an advertising minor. So that's really awesome that she's able to use her design skills and use that for advertising and PR.
Yeah.
And she's definitely skilled when it comes to designing also.
I was going to say, I've had classes with her since freshman year, and she's a really hard worker, and no matter how, she'll take on anything. Like if you ask her to do something, she'll do it, and she's just a really good person.
Yeah, she has such a positive attitude about anything. And always laughing, loves coffee, gets a lot of work done.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said, though. I did not know she wasn't a communication arts major in the beginning. Like, I thought she was, and then when I found out she was just an ad minor, I was like, wow, you're involved in everything.
Oh,
Like, I thought you were majoring like the rest of us, but hey, but that's like you too. You're just an ad minor, but you do so much in the department. See, we pull everybody in. We're like a family. In addition to current students, we also have Com Arts alumni that have been accomplishing some cool things. One being Leslie Bocadori. She graduated in 2001 as an ad hoc major studying advertising and public relations along with broadcast production. After graduating from Marywood, she continued her education at the University of Southern California, where she obtained a master's in professional writing. While enrolled, she studied all writing disciplines, including screenwriting, playwriting, humor, technical writing, literary writing, and poetry. Right now, Leslie is working as a visual associate producer for E!News. She described her favorite part of her job as what she feared the most, negotiating with photo agencies. While at Marywood, Leslie interned at Citadel Communications working with radio stations Magic 93 and Hot 97. Her advice to current Com Arts students is not to be afraid to try something new or different. It may surprise you what road it takes you on. For example, take a class that intimidates you. Sometimes it helps you realize your true passion and your full potential. So I think that's some pretty good advice right there that we could all live by.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, especially at our age, we may not know whether we like entertainment if you only like news all the time. So that's kind of cool to branch out into something that you're not usually trying. You could always just possibly quit and realize that's not really for me.
I think it's also with the classes. Sometimes when we're making our schedules, like you think you see a class that's maybe 400 level and like the description's really intense. And you're like, oh, like, can I do this? Is this going to be like a GPA lowering class? But you think about it and you're like, take the class.
And on top of that, you could probably ask somebody next to you, hey, do you get this? If you don't really get whatever you're learning in the class.
I find the classes that I feel like I'm going to hate the most, I go into them and I'm like, wow, I learned so much in there.
Yeah.
So that is really good advice, and I agree with her. So now we're on to Elizabeth. Last week, you discussed Pepsi, their new ad with Kendall Jenner, and the controversy behind it. Can you tell us more about this hot topic?
Yeah, so Ad Week was had this huge article about the Pepsi ad, and at first I didn't even know that they had put out a new ad. And so, of course, I watched it first before I decided to write about it, because I was like, well, is this something that is actually a big deal? And it ended up being an actual problem. Many people that watched it really didn't like the way that Pepsi portrayed a protest. They thought it was too cheerful and too peaceful, and like and nowadays I think protests are not like that, so a lot of people were against the way that they portrayed it. They also didn't like how at the end Kendall Jenner was the divider with a Pepsi to like bridge that gap of like everything is going to be okay. And so I later found out that Pepsi did apologize, and they took the ad down, and people were still talking about it, but at least they did the right thing and apologized. It might not have solved everything, but it did a little something to ease up the tension.
I've seen a lot of memes about that, about the whole Kendall Jenner and the Pepsi. But that's something I've also learned in my advertising class that I took, that if you do something wrong as a company, to recognize that you did something wrong, listen to the feedback, and possibly apologize for what you did wrong.
It's almost like when you think as any media, bad media, like, yes, this was I personally didn't think it was a good commercial at all. I think, like, I don't know what they were thinking with that one, but they were talked about a lot in the last week. Everybody was talking about Pepsi. So even though it was kind of negative, like, their name was still being used so much. Actually, Saturday Night Live did a skit on it with the making of the man who wrote the commercial, and they have him talking to different people, like his girlfriend, I think it was his mother, I don't know, like talking about like how the commercial plays out, and they're like, no, don't do it. So I think it's really funny how they made a joke out of it, like everything else going on. But yeah, it was definitely very controversial and hot topic for this week. So it was a great choice on your behalf. Before Easter break, some comm arts students were able to sit down with alumnus Myatt Murphy before he presented 2 workshops right here in the Learning Commons. Murphy, a 1991 graduate with an advertising and public relations degree, started his day by sharing some of his secrets he learned along the way through interviewing well-known names like Justin Timberlake, Jimmy Carter, Arnold Palmer, actor Jeff Daniels, and CNN founder Ted Turner. He has written more than 1,000 features, department segments, and editorials for top-name magazines worldwide. Before sitting down for lunch with 4 comm arts students, Abington Heights High School students formulated questions for a mock interview on Late Night Marywood set, with the help of Murphy's expertise. The students took turns as co-hosts on the show and technical crews, experiencing firsthand what it's like to work with TV-Marywood. Murphy stressed the importance of preparation and how to use sometimes unorthodox means of getting to know interview subjects. Murphy's accomplishments have taken him to countries across the globe. The fact that someone who started at Marywood in the same position as all of us sitting here is now so successful in living his dreams to the fullest is such an amazing inspiration. I don't know if you guys went to any of his sessions.
Yeah, I
you
did.
did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you want to talk about it a little bit?
I went to a second session. That's where he was joining one of the classrooms for Dr. Latanis. So first I was very thankful to hear somebody who graduated from here, worked in the industry, to come back and let us know what he's learned and what we could do to get there someday. So that was really helpful. Also, another thing is I liked how much information, he was very honest. So I thought about all the information he was telling us. Also, he gave us like 3 good tips for whether you're going into this industry or wherever you go, and that was to be friendly, fast, and I think he said to be good at what you do. So you could be all 3 of those, but it's best to be 2 out of 3. So that was a really good thing that clicked in my head. So
I was actually one of the students that got to sit down with him for lunch in NAS, and he was so personable with just talking to us. He wanted to know everything about us, everything we're involved in, what our plans are for after school, whether we were sophomores, juniors, or about to graduate like myself. And I just think he really listened. I feel like sometimes people will ask a question and they kind of are like, oh, you can do this with your life or do that. But he like listened to what we liked and what we aspire to do, and he gave really great advice and was totally open to us contacting him afterwards, because I mean, how much can you really talk about in an hour when you're talking about the rest of your life and how much he's done so far. And so I added him on LinkedIn, and that was really nice. He responded very quickly, and we actually messaged for 2 days, and he's just such a nice man and very successful. So it makes you know that you can do so much with the Marywood education, and we're all going to go places. He was I think he's just a great guy, and it's so impressive. Like, he met Justin Timberlake and interviewed him.
amazing.
Right? That was the first
Yeah.
thing. He said Justin Timberlake. I was like, you made it. So it was a really great day. Now on to some exciting news. Marywood doctoral student Trisha Richards Service has become the first Marywood student to be awarded a Fulbright research grant. She also serves as an adjunct faculty instructor in the Comm Arts Department, and she will be affiliated with Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, for her grant in European Union will allow her to conduct research in Romania using their archives. With this grant, Richard's Service plans to research breast cancer detection and treatment in the European Union. During her application process and through her own research, she found that women in Romania have traditionally experienced a breast cancer mortality rate significantly higher than other nations in the European Union, and decided that these women needed the most help in improving their detection, treatment, and quality of life for patients with the disease. Richard Service's doctoral dissertation is also focused on detection and treatment of breast cancer. As a member of the Comm Arts faculty, she has taught a variety of graduate level courses, including public presentation, health communications, and corporate communications. When interviewed by Frame Your Future, she said, quote, "Choosing to enroll in the doctoral program at Marywood has changed my life for the better. It has enabled me to accomplish more than I ever imagined, and it has also humbled me as I discovered that there is still so much to learn. I will always be grateful to the Marywood community," unquote. So that was a really nice quote on her behalf, and I think, has anybody taken a course with Trisha? I know they're all graduate levels, but we're able to.
I've taken, I think it was Dynamics of Speech with her. And it was very enlightening. She gave us so many good tips on how to present something in like public speaking, pretty much, like with clear and concise and confidence, and she was just really good at what she did.
She's a really good public speaker.
She is. It's unbelievable.
Last semester, she presented our Ethics Month discussion for PRSSA, and we could not have chose a better person. She's so passionate about ethics and just doing the right thing and values, and like we couldn't have chose a better person. Like, we had no idea what we were going into because it's such a large topic is ethics, and she narrowed it to so many specific situations that we really in-depthly talked about for the small group that came, and she was really good. And she also spoke at our induction. I think it was 2016, I want to say, the January of that. She spoke there, and she was did really well at the induction as well. And she's a really nice person.
Mm-hmm. She is.
And very dedicated to what she does as everything with breast cancer. Like, that's so out of the comm arts realm, but it's quite close to home with her as being a woman and probably having people in her family. I remember her telling me something about that in the past. And she's very passionate for what she does, and I respect her a lot for that. She's a really powerful woman.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Makes us like think how much we could do in the future.
Mm-hmm.
She's done a lot. So now we're going to go back to Anne to hear about how PRSSA and AAF will be taking part in a day of caring.
Yeah, so PRSSA and AAF will be doing a volunteer project as Marywood is known to have such a beautiful campus in the spring season. So that's a really great opportunity for PRSSA and AAF members to help give back to the Marywood community by cleaning up any old leaves or gardening and just doing a lot of landscape work. So that's a really nice way to give back to the Marywood community and also work together as a team to clean up the campus to make it more beautiful.
Yeah, Elizabeth and I will be there this Friday, and we'll have our green thumbs on. And I signed up to fill flower potters and like move soil and flowers through campus. That's exciting. I haven't gardened in a while, so why not make campus more beautiful?
Yeah.
I'm a little excited for it. I think it's fun. I hope it's been nice on and off, so hopefully this Friday the weather will hang on tight for us. And
Hopefully.
yeah, you get a t-shirt and water bottle too. Can't beat it. Like save the environment, like plant some trees day before Earth Day, and then t-shirt. Everybody always wins with the t-shirt. No, but it's really nice. I think it's a great thing, especially like them doing it the day before Earth Day. So I'm excited our chapter's going out to help out. So Margaret, can you tell us about the second student you chose for the Student Spotlight, who will be the Marywood Society for Collegiate Journalists president next year?
Yeah, so Brooke Williams is assistant news editor for the Woodward. She's majoring in broadcast journalism and minoring in digital media. She's also part of the TVM-Marywood. She's part of the package team there, and she will be serving as SCJ president for 2017-2018 year. So she's definitely very involved in the comm department, and she'll be taking on a big role next year. Excited to see what she can do with it.
Yeah, so Brooke recently transferred maybe last year to Marywood, and she immediately jumped right into the department, got to know pretty much everybody. Not only is she very funny, but she's also a hard worker, whether it's academics or here in the department. She's definitely a really good student and cares a lot about school and Marywood. She's the assistant news director for TVM-News, so she's always involved in news, and she was community editor for the Woodward. She does a lot for that, and definitely always picking up something fun more to do.
Very busy.
Yeah.
But that's something you can say about most of our commerce students. We're all very busy and dedicated. And love working with all of us. Our second alumni that we recently highlighted is Afton Fonzo. Fonzo graduated in 2016 with a BA in Communication Arts with a concentration in Advertising and Public Relations. Recently, Afton began a position at NetDriven in Scranton as a social media specialist. During her time in the Comm Arts Department, Fonzo was involved in the Woodward and PRSSA AAF, where she held the position of social media editor. She believes her involvement in these organizations has taught her how to work on a team and collaborate better. While enrolled, Fonzo interned at The Weekender and Sullivan's Pin Up Photography. She also worked in marketing at Doc McGrogan's while enrolled to promote their location. In her spare time, Fonzo enjoys doing anything art-related, from drawing to painting to DIY projects. Her advice to comm arts students is, find what you're passionate about and dive into it. Involve yourself in clubs, work hard, take time to study, but don't forget to have fun. That's a nice quote, too.
Yeah,
She was
I
involved in
agree.
PRSSA for 3 years as social media editor. When I came into PRSSA, that's when I met her at the first meeting, and she was introduced as the social media editor, and she worked that until she graduated, and then we handed it on to someone else. Let's move on to Elizabeth, who also researched Atlanta and why Adweek highlighted this city.
Yeah, so I noticed that Adweek does this City Spotlight series, and last week they had highlighted Atlanta, Georgia. And what they do is they research, or they have writers come up with different topics on why that city is so popular now. And then they put out a bunch of articles. I think it's usually 5 articles on that city. So I read 2 of them, and those are the ones I blogged about. One of them was about 20 uprising stars in in some of the brands that are down in Atlanta, and the other one was about TV and film industry in Atlanta. One of the stars that I read about was Bryn Bardak, and she is a part of the Coca-Cola brands team, and she's a vice president there, and she oversees all of the Coca-Cola brand ads. With Coca-Cola brands, she oversees Sprite, Diet Coke, Minute Maid, other brands like that. So she has a very, very big role, especially with ads in the advertising and marketing world. Then with the film and TV industry, one of the shows that they highlighted was The Walking Dead, and how that can attract a lot of people to a city when they see it on a TV show. Although now, after the first season of The Walking Dead, they actually switched locations, and they actually don't film in Atlanta anymore. They film 35 minutes outside of Atlanta, but still there are a lot of people that come and they'll say oh, The Walking Dead was filmed here. So it's a really good opportunity for people to see where things are taking place.
Do the viewers know that it's not actually filmed in Atlanta? I mean, besides reading the article?
That I don't know.
Oh.
Probably
I guess you
not.
could say the same about The Office and
Yeah.
Scranton
Yeah.
being so driven and known for being in Scranton.
Very true.
Yeah, when people don't know where Scranton is, you say The Office, and they know. So
And they're
that-
like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's very
yeah.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
I can actually relate to that because last semester, the Marriott Media Group board members, we went to Atlanta, Georgia for the College Media
Right.
Association National Convention. And the last day we were there, the panelists were the Walking Dead cast.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
not a big Walking Dead fan, I'm
really?
not going to lie. I think they're either you're really into it or you're not. And not that I don't think it's good, just was never a big fan. But the cast was really interesting how they talked about Atlanta and how it was the perfect spot because it's so growing in the film
Yes,
industry.
yeah.
And you don't realize, I can't name any offhand, but they named quite a handful of shows and movies that had scenes in Atlanta that you wouldn't never even know that's where they're filming, that it's such a big place for the film industry right now. And especially with Coke on the uprise with that, and then they have CNN there, and it's a really big entertainment and marketing city. And I had an idea, but I didn't know how big it was until we walked around there, and I was going to different sessions, and most of the people were big, the people at companies in Atlanta, and you're like, wow, this is headquartered here, this
Exactly,
is based
yeah.
here. I had no idea. You should have known that. But it's crazy. Coca-Cola was the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
That's a huge brand. But I thought your article was very interesting, and how you wrote about that, especially the 20 stars rising. It was like girl power for that one girl.
Yeah.
So I liked it. So thank you again for joining us tonight from inside the Learning Commons to discuss the current happenings in the Marywood Communication Arts Department. For more information about Frame Your Future, go to frameyourfuture.wordpress.com. Follow Marywood-University's Communication Arts Department on Facebook @MUComArts, and follow us on Instagram @MUComArts. From all of us at TV-Marywood and Frame Your Future, enjoy the rest of this spring semester and never stop writing. Thank you and good night.